Okay, finally got it to work. My last two attempts wasn't really successful, but yes, it seems to be working now, I think. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes for people to show up, especially because I've just done the last live for the new moon in Aries readings. So just want to give it a couple of minutes. You know, people might be getting a drink, might be doing other things. But yeah, I've been wanting to start these little live discussions for a while now. So I figured now's a good time to do it while I actually have the energy to do it at this moment. It's not going to be a long discussion because, you know, I still have to conserve my energy. If you don't know, I have been sick for a little while. But yes, it is getting better. It's just, yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, so I do have to conserve my energy a little bit. But no, very interesting readings that came up for this new moon in Aries energy. So I'm curious to see how that's going to unfold over the next couple of weeks. I think that's going to be very interesting for a lot of people, especially with the messages that came up. I mean, it's a very profound time, right? So before I go into the discussion any further, I just want to say hello and welcome to the channel for those of you who are just tuning in now and didn't necessarily see the new moon readings that I just did on another live stream. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It's nice to see you here. I hope you become part of the tribe. My name is Damari. I am a high priestess, spiritual coach, card reader, and the list goes on. So welcome. I will save you the details. And today I look like some kind of fabulous alien, I guess. But yeah, so today I just did the new moon readings, so you can always check them out after this stream. Yeah, it's already up on the channel, on the main page, so you can check that out. It's got some really nuts messages that came through that I wasn't anticipating, so I think it's definitely worth a watch, that one. Some very profound messages there that can benefit a lot of people, I think. But yeah, there's a few things that I wanted to kind of discuss with you guys because there's been a lot. There has been a lot that has happened, especially when it comes to these old cycles that are closing out and this kind of almost stop-start transition into the new one. It's been a very jerky transition, I feel, not just for myself, but for a lot of people that I have, you know, communicated with, people I've read for, the energies that I've been picking up in the collective, because I'm not only just reading the collective field when I'm on camera, but I'm also doing it off camera as well to see what is going on, right? Because I need to have some insight sometimes in order to better serve you guys, right? But, you know, what I've been seeing recently is that, yeah, it's not been a smooth transition by any means. A lot of us are now, you know, starting to plant those first footsteps into the new timeline. Some people are already there and sowing their seeds and stuff, which is great. There's other people who are dragging their feet, not wanting to leave the last timeline at all, you know, at all, which is fine, but it's closing out regardless. So all you're going to do is carry the same energy over to the new one and probably have to repeat some lessons. So I don't know, do you? You know, if you want to do that, that's fine. But yeah, it just feels like it can be avoided in most instances. Obviously, it depends on whether or not that person is ready to receive the lesson or the knowledge or whatever it is. So yeah, that's something I've noticed, first of all, that it has been a very clunky start, but I don't think it's without reason as well, because obviously there were some energies, there was still some things lingering that really didn't want to be released as well. I don't think it's just a case of people being reluctant to release things that no longer serve, that's part of an old timeline, part of like pre-programming, things of that nature. That is part of it, but I feel like also it's not easy for people to release certain things at this time because there are other energies, there are other people that do not want to be released, right? So it's not as easy as being like, well, that's done, you know. No. For some people, it's been a lot more challenging than that. So I think that's something that, you know, I'm trying to keep in mind as well, that everyone's, you know, situation is very different, and their circumstances can be quite complicated, especially when there's like other family members involved or children, things like that. Yeah, it can get quite complicated. So I don't think it's always necessarily the fault of the individual that they're not necessarily transitioning, but there can be other factors, external factors that are also slowing them down, trying to hold them back. But regardless, it's like if there are any outside influences that are trying to slow you down, that are trying to stop you from transitioning, they're only going to be able to do that for so long. And they are only as effective as you believe them to be. Okay, your belief in their ability to slow you down is also very important. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you are dealing with anyone who's been particularly challenging, that doesn't really want to see you level up. Okay, that's something worth keeping in mind. I'm just going to have a swig of my water. But I hope you guys are doing well out there. If you're tuning in, drop a comment, say hi. Don't be shy. I'm not going to bite your head off. Okay, it's always good to interact. I mean, this is a discussion, right? It's not me just talking at you. This is an open forum. This is an open discussion. So you're welcome to drop a comment, share your insights, share your thoughts, pose a question. Right? This is the idea of this is to be interactive, so we can actually communicate these things. It's not me just delivering a sermon or whatever, right? So yes, don't be shy. Say hi if you feel like it. You don't have to, of course. But yeah, that's something that's been coming up quite a lot. When it comes to the divine unions, now that is interesting because I started tapping into this soulmate twin flame journey that a lot of people have been on. When did I start tapping into that? That was it was late 2019, actually. Yeah, I started first getting that energy in late 2019, but it wasn't until 2020 that really started to become prominent, right? So I was like, okay, it was interesting how even in some collective messages I did way back then on my other channel, which hadn't been around very long at that point. I think it was a matter of months it had been around when I started tapping into it. That these messages started to come up even then, right? That's why I started doing a lot of these collective readings on this channel, because some of this stuff was things that I was picking up even 2 years ago. The energy was already present there. So with some of the things that have been happening between divine counterparts, soulmates, twin flames, things of that nature, some of it was predestined, I have to say, because it was meant to teach you something specific for your particular soul's journey, and it served its purpose. So it was kind of like it needed to happen that way. But for other things, it was like there was definitely some curveballs thrown in there. I'm not going to pretend that there wasn't. There absolutely was. Things that even the divine didn't anticipate in taking place, right? And that's like a whole nother reasoning behind that as well. And that ties into things that I observed in the astral, because that's the thing. My job here is not just to deliver tarot messages. I deliver messages from the other side as well. Not just in terms of channeling, but literally astral projecting and going to do some scouting missions, getting information and insights in some very interesting places. But yeah, so I was already picking up on it then, and I was seeing how those energies and how they were trying to attach to certain individual affected how certain connections played out. There was definitely some curveballs thrown in, okay? That's a fact. Some things were predestined, some things weren't, okay? That's something I really just want to share first of all. But yeah, hi guys, welcome. Nice to see you here. And yeah, the best thing you can do is forgive them, because these people who may have harmed you or gone out their way to affect you emotionally or spiritually or even health-wise or whatever, they don't realize that they were literally projecting all of that stuff to be boomeranged straight back at them. It literally is like a boomerang. Whatever intention, energy you're putting out is going to come back around. So if you want someone to suffer because you feel like they're doing better than you, you're going to suffer more, right? This is how it is. They're not going to start, suddenly start suffering because you want them to. You're going to suffer more. So that's why your intention and the energy you put out is so paramount. Your words matter, okay? Everything matters. Whatever you're putting out into the ethers, it matters. It carries a frequency, okay? There is a specific signature because it's all energy, right? So that's why it's so important that you're mindful of what energy you're putting out there. Because if you understand how it truly works and how it can be manipulated, but how it can go really wrong, then yeah, you're going to be more mindful of what you put out. But yeah, it's crazy though. Like some people have not learned that lesson. So people were doing all sorts of things to try and stop unions from coming together and things of that nature. But I think in the end, those that are truly not a good fit at this point, depending on, because I don't think it's just based on what took place, right? Of course, there are certain lines that should never be crossed, and some things are, are seemingly beyond repair, okay? And in situations like that, I feel like the divine wouldn't want you to put yourself in harm's way again anyway, or put yourself in a position where you feel like you would have to risk it. Like, no, I think that in this case, whatever soul contract or tie you had with that person, you would be relieved from it. If you had like some kind of soul contract with a twin flame and you were meant to have a family together, that's annulled. And the only people that can do it, the only ones that can do it is the divine. No one else can do that. It doesn't matter like if you see a practitioner that's telling you like, oh, I can break soul ties. They cannot. They can help you cut cords. Yeah, they can help you cut energetic cords. They can't break a soul tie. Only the divine can do that. But the divine will annul it if they feel like it's the right course of action. If someone's gone way too far off the deep end, yeah, they're not going to keep making you the sacrificial lamb. They'll say, no, that's fine. You did your part. Here's something else. Whereas that person is going to be forced to live with those actions, and they will not know peace until they resolve it, not even with you, but with the divine, So yeah, there's a lot of that energy that I've been picking up on as well. You've probably been seeing it. I mean, if you've watched any of my recent collective tarot readings, that energy has been coming up a lot. The one that's scheduled for Saturday, it's a continuation. It's like I'm following these storylines, and it taps into so many things. That's why I didn't want to. It was quite specific, and I was shocked that so many people resonated with it. I didn't want to go too detail orientated because I knew there was a lot of people that needed to hear that, right? So yeah, and I feel like this next message is just a continuation of that. But I think it's important that it's being delivered because people need to know that despite everything you went through with these unions that came together and fell apart or never came together in the first place, it's not going to be for naught. Okay, you did grow a hell of a lot through it. You learned a lot through it. You leveled up through it. It changed you. It molded you. And in some ways, yeah, you may feel like you have a lot of healing to do as a result of it, and could have even been traumatic for some of you. But the person that it's helping you to become, very powerful, really powerful. And it's only going to put you in a very empowered energy when you're confronted with certain types of energies, people, situations that you're not going to even feed into, that is not healthy for you, first of all. And also, you're not going to be outsmarted in the same way if you were in any instance, right? People are not going to be able to take your good nature as weakness, because the strength will also be present, and the discernment. So yeah, I don't feel like it's going to be for nothing. And like I said, for those of you who don't come together with a twin, a soulmate, however you want to label it, because I think we get too obsessed with these labels. That's why generally, if I'm going to do a divine union reading, I'll refer to karmics, divine masculine, divine feminine, just so everyone knows what I'm talking about, because it's kind of universal at this point. But I don't want to go into like soulmate, twin flame, because I think that just confuses things a lot. But you know what it means to you. Put whatever label you want on it, right? But I think the important thing is that we take the lessons on board, that we learn what we needed to learn from that experience, from that connection. And it's often the ones that hit the hardest, that hurt the most, that profoundly change you for the better. That's what I've experienced anyway. That's what I've noticed. And just from the people that I have supported, just in the last couple of years of doing this, nearly 3 years now, it'll be 3 years in August, I think, that I started, supporting people publicly. Yeah, I think that that's something that I can clearly see across the board. So it's all about perception at the end of the day. It's all about how you want to view it, right? If you take the positives from it, if you take the lessons, if you take the wisdom that you can acquire from it, then it's only going to put you in a more empowered, energy. So it's like anything in life. It's all about how you apply it. But I honestly do feel it's important that, people who have been in these situations know that even if you don't end up with that person, you're going to have a new soulmate come in, someone who's also on your level, someone who's also gone through those lessons. Because the reason you're not with your mate is because they refuse to, or they haven't learned the lesson yet, or they just flat out refuse to rise to that vibration. And that's fine. That's their choice. You can't force them to do that. If they do not want to ascend with you, they won't. And you can't force them. Even the divine can't force them. So how is anyone else going to force them? They have the choice. The divine will kick their ass as much as they want to try and get them in line. But if they don't want to ascend, they will fall. That's literally how it is, And it's not for anyone else to force it, So that's their choice. Just going to read your comment. Yes, it took 2 whole years. Now his dad is dead, sadly. I feel it is his karma. It took 2 whole years. There's my soul family coming into my life. Yeah, that's the thing, In order for your soul family to come in, there needs to be space for that. There needs to be the right energy around you for that. You need to be of the right vibration, right? So that's what I feel is kind of happening on that level. I do also see that there are certain energies from the past that want to make themselves known. I know that's such a cliche thing to hear, especially from a tarot reader, but it's true. Obviously every once in a while we'll have an ex that tries to come back or whatever, but it's more profound than that. Because we are closing out a big cycle, we did see that energy, particularly for the fire signs in the new moon readings that I just did. And bear in mind, this is like a cardinal fire sign season. That tells you a lot. Yeah, it's a big one. It's a huge one, but it's happening collectively as well as individually. And because of that, there are going to be all sorts of people. I'm not just talking about ex-partners, but estranged relatives, childhood friends, colleagues from way back when that might just resurface out of nowhere because you're now vibrating at a similar frequency for you to reconnect, or because they see your elevation and they want to be a part of that in some shape or form, right? They want way is what I want to say. So just be mindful of that. Some people will want to connect with you because they're on the same, wavelength. And there's other people that want to kind of profit off of your energy. So be mindful of that. There's a lot of energy vampirism going on at the moment. So it's important that you do protect your energy. I know it's partially why my internet connection is worse than it was, because it's obvious, the enemy doesn't want the message getting out, right? These infernal energies do not want these messages getting out, but regardless, they're going to go out. They're going to get out to whoever needs to hear them, whether I have to do it on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. So that's the thing. Retrograde season is coming. Absolutely. Because that's the thing. We haven't had a retrograde for a while now. We've had a bit of a breather. So we can get things sorted out, get things into alignment, get ourselves into alignment, get some kind of stability foundation down. But the planets are not going to be direct for much longer. So, you need to be prepared for that. And as well, it does mean that some things, that you may be working on does slow down a little bit, but that's fine because it's giving you more preparation time. So don't see it as something that, is detrimental. It's not. It's actually beneficial. It's giving you more time, because like I said, there is a lot of crap that's going on still on a collective level and behind the scenes, so there's still this energy of weeding. I've been feeling it very strongly since the full moon in Virgo, and I'm still getting that now. Despite all these profound changes that are coming in, I'm still getting that energy of needing to do this weeding. It's really important. So yeah, what else did I want to talk about? That was like the main gist of things that I wanted to talk about that's going on right now. But yeah, the important thing is to like keep planting those seeds. As I said, keep tending to what you're already working on, what you're nurturing. It's good to also have some downtime as well. Make sure that you are giving yourself time to just be, okay? Not just in terms of, okay, I'm gonna rest and plan this out. I'm gonna sit down and focus, meditating. And no, I just mean literally just be, like not with no plan in mind, just literally be for a while. You need time for that as well. Just to decompress, because I feel like we're just getting hit with a lot of energy right now. And even myself, I've had to take time out to rest. I had to restructure my schedule. I'm having to change my sleeping pattern. Like a lot of things are changing like that for me, because there's just been so much going on, so many changes that are happening all at once. And when you're reading these energies and trying to decipher them, yeah, you're feeling it all instantaneously, but at the same time you're having to kind of regurgitate it and look at it in front of you. It sounds a bit rough, but it's true. You're having to look at it in front of you, all this different energy and what it means, and decipher it and get a clear sense of what needs to be done here, right? In order to best navigate them. But yeah, I do feel like we are going to be okay. It's just, there are going to be times where things are going to be grating, okay? Especially over the next couple of months. There's gonna be, I would say up until like August, there's gonna be things that grate. There's gonna be some things that feel like is intentionally being put as a spanner in the works, okay? But just know that it will pass. It's not permanent, it's temporary, okay? But yeah, that's literally the main gist of it. I didn't want it to be a long conversation because I need to rest my voice as well, and nose again in a minute. But that was just like some of the main stuff I wanted to go into in this particular little chat. I'm gonna try and give people a bit more notice next time, because obviously this wasn't planned. This was an impromptu discussion. But yeah, I just thought while I have the energy to do it, I'm gonna do it now. So, but now I can feel myself lagging a little bit. So I'm going to make some herbal tea and get some rest before I move on to some other tasks. So, yeah, thank you guys for checking this live stream out. And yeah, I hope that you found the topics interesting. We'll definitely get into these things more as time goes on. Like I said, this is just me kind of initiating, right, what it is that I want to do in terms of live discussions. I thought, let me just start now, and then we'll build on it from here. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some really interesting things coming up that I want to discuss. That is just kind of like the main energies that I'm picking up in the collective field right now. The more detailed specifics of that you can see across all 4 readings for the new moon in Aries. And I think, honestly, to be honest with you, I think everyone should watch all of them, regardless of your sign. I think you should watch all of them, because they are all profound and they all kind of interconnect anyway on different levels. So that would be my advice. Of course, it's up to you. You don't have to watch them all. But I think it would be beneficial on this occasion if you see all of those readings. So yeah. Just read your comment. How do I share my knowledge with the world, because my country is so? Oh, there's many ways you can do it now. I mean, especially with the internet being where it is these days, there's so many different platforms, and you have people all around the world using them. YouTube is an obvious one. You know, it's really good for connecting with people globally because so many people use it. And this is not me being sponsored by YouTube or anything. Yeah, no. I'm just saying it's an obvious example because this is where I am, right? But you can also use Instagram or some other social media platforms. TikTok is a massive one, isn't it? So yeah, it all depends on what message you want to deliver. And then you can think about how you want to deliver it. You know, what's going to be the best format, what's going to be the best platform. You know, you have to really look into what you're doing, why you're doing it, who it's for, and then find the best platform for you. You know, it kind of is the same with anything. Like, say, for example, if God forbid something should happen to YouTube, my messages would just go onto my Instagram. You know, I'm always going to find somewhere where I can deliver the message, you know. So it's always good to have more than one platform as well, because if something goes wrong with that platform, then you're stuck, right? So I'd say at least have a couple of platforms, and then you can think about how you want to present that, you know, look at formats that work, that are shown to work, and then go from there. Okay. There's a lot of information out there as well that can help you with different platforms. I'm shy. That's okay. I was the same. Like, honestly, even now, I get kind of awkward, especially when I'm not on live for a long time. I always get a little bit awkward in the beginning going back on live. I'm like, oh, am I going to make sense? You know, it's like that. But, you know, you don't have to be this crazy extrovert to do it. Like, I am not at all. I am a hermit, if you ever saw one, you know. I am pretty introverted. So it was really scary for me to start, you know, doing tarot readings on YouTube on my other channel and then start going live as well. That was terrifying for me. But I was so glad that I did it. It really did help with my fear around. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but sometimes I do kind of stumble over my words. And I'm not pointing out like my flaws. It's just, this is just, you know, part of the discussion, right? And that's something I used to be so self-conscious about, like, oh, you know, because it's one of the many signs I have that I may have dyslexia, right? And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what if people are not going to take me seriously because I'm stumbling over my words? People don't care. That's what I've come to realize. People don't care as long as they can understand the message. They really don't care. So it doesn't matter if you think, oh, my hair's not perfect, the lighting's not perfect, the sound's not perfect, I'm not acting perfect. It doesn't matter. No one needs you to be perfect. Just show up and do what it is you want to do, you know, and you can kind of tweak it from there. Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime. And that's it, you know, with these live discussions, it's not just me talking at you. Like I said, if you have any questions in general, you're welcome to ask me. And if it's something I feel comfortable in answering, then I'll answer, of course. But yeah, you're more than welcome. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, as I said before, if you haven't already. I think I said that in the last live, but whatever. Yeah, it'd be nice to see you as part of the tribe. And yeah, we're definitely going to have some more live discussions. But like I said, I will plan it in advance. I just thought it'd be a good time to do it now, just to get the ball rolling more than anything. And you know, we'll actually some discussions in that I want to have with you guys. But for now, I hope you have an amazing day or evening or morning, depending on where you are. And yeah, I'll have another reading for you guys very soon. Actually, I have to start the April. Gosh, I forget what month we're in. This is crazy. I have to start the April readings for each of the zodiac signs. So I'm going to take a little break and then I'm going to do that. Okay. I might do the format a little bit different for this one, like same style, you know, spread, but you know, you may see my face possibly, just to change it up a little bit. So it's not like the last one, but anyway, so look out for that. That's coming this week for all of the zodiac signs. But for now, have an amazing day and I will speak to you guys soon. Love yous. Bye.